Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I hope you guys had a good day trading the markets today. Overall, nothing really happened. We had just some sideways chop happening, and a lot of people were probably planning on a very big dump today. Maybe based on my last video, I got a lot of views, and thank you for that. But yeah, no, that's not always how it goes. I said early on in the week that we may get a retrace, and again, I still expect potentially Tuesday tomorrow that we may get the retrace. Even with a one more day of upside today, a lot of people are disappointed getting into shorts, and then you expect that instant gratification, but that didn't happen. But right now, you just take a look at where we've come from and what we've done in the markets so far. And again, we are very, very well positioned for a potential pullback in the coming days. You have so many gaps in the SPY, gap here, gap here, gap there, gap there. And believe it or not, today we actually gapped up again. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row that we've been gapping up. And at the moment, this is not a healthy, uh, like a healthy uptrend, right? A healthy uptrend would be something that trends upwards slowly and steadily, right? Not by constantly gapping up every single day. What we just experienced recently is something that we've actually seen more likely in bear markets, right? So actually, for everyone that's extremely bullish and hoping for this bullish case to potentially playing out, you need to reassess and look at what's happening in the markets and what's happening in the real economy. And overall, you need to do your own macro analysis. But I'm just positioning myself in what I believe is going to be happening in the coming weeks and months. But anyways, let's move on here. So right now, we're tagging essentially the head and shoulders, the trend line resistance that I had drawn out before, and it's holding for the time being. But if the markets want to push higher, they can. Believe it or not, they can still go to 440 or 445. I think I've outlined in this resistance box right here. And if we keep impulsing higher, then actually the bullish case does get stronger, even with all these gaps that we've seen. Because now we're actually going to complete 5 waves up on the smaller time frames. I don't have them drawn out here because it's a lot of work to draw all these lines and then delete them and then redraw them again for the video. But I've done the work, and right now it does look like we could still get another leg higher. Although there's a lot of bearish cases coming in, we have we're overbought. The whales illustrated here on the S&P 500, the SPY ETF, have started to sell on the 1 hour time frame, as you guys can probably tell. And again, it's not just this; it's also that I think I copy pasted the chart here. Oh, not this one. Let me just get another one right here. I'll just get over and I'll paste this a picture. So you guys can see the SPXL, which is the triple leveraged bullish ETF. We got a lot of dark pool trades at the close. 1.5 million shares, which is 73 times the average size, and 832,000 shares open as well. So I would. These are usually marked as short positions when they come out the highs and at the close. So we may potentially get a gap down tomorrow in the markets. Again, don't don't quote me on that. There's no guarantees in this market. And if you guys know chart candle patterns as well, this is actually an abandoned baby candle when we gap up and we make a little bit of a doji. So tomorrow we should potentially gap down, right? And again, we have a lot of gaps to fill at 430 and 422, but I really doubt we're gonna fill in the 422 one. I would look at 430 as your best bet for a potential long right now, because there's so much bullishness in the market. There's almost no bears right now. A lot of, well, I mean, at least the bears that I'm seeing are just getting made fun of, and everyone is very, very, very optimistic at the moment. Which is, when everyone's on one side of the trade, I don't really tend to like that. But overall, we have this bullish count, and then we have the bearish count, right? Which is an ABC correction into a wave 2, which is going to come back down in a wave 3, right? I'll delete these boxes right here. These are a little bit confusing for people. And let me just get rid of this here. So overall, yeah, we should probably get a retrace sooner than later. We managed to hold above these levels for now, and this was actually above the daily close. It was forming holding a support throughout almost the entire day. We did get a small dip, and then it was bought up instantly. And again, the entire market in terms of tech stocks was down throughout the day. It was just getting slaughtered, except for the Magnificent Seven. So as long as these seven stocks are always green, the markets will never go down, right? They'll always hold up the entire indexes. They're so heavily weighted that regardless of whatever performance, you could have MVIS, and you could have almost all of these stocks here down 9 to 10% or 15%, and these guys are up 1 to 2%. The markets won't go down. They'll remain flat on the day at the very least, which is exactly what we saw today. So that's basically it. I'm expecting a very small gap down, and then maybe fill the gap, and then maybe an instant rally back to 440 by the end of the week. We have a lot of Fed announcements this week. Lots of Jerome Powell speeches, lots of Fed speeches, and again, that could bring more bullishness to the market, which could push us right into this resistance. The triple Qs right now are at resistance. They're right at 369 from this upsloping trend line here. If you want, you can redraw it a little bit better. I think I've drawn it up pretty well so far. Just making contact with as many points as I can. And now we make contact today, I guess. And now we actually got another phantom print, something that's interesting here. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's not very clear. Let me see if I can get the picture once again. So I'll just post it here for you guys. Let me see if it's a little bit more clear this time. There we go. That's a little bit better. So we actually got a phantom print at 358 on the triple Qs. And usually when these come and it's a real phantom print, and they come and you see them at the close, usually the price tends to go down to that level, right? Over a short period of time. And right now we actually got that phantom print at 358. So if we measure 358 where the phantom print came in at, it's pretty close to where that gap fill is at 357, but that's about a 2 to 3% drop on the Nasdaq, and I don't know if that's gonna happen right now. We would have to have some pretty dramatic news tomorrow or in the coming days for that to drop so quickly. But I'm assuming if it does drop that quickly and down to that level, it'll probably be bought up because there's so many buy the dippers out there right now. After this massive rally, I bet everyone right now is gonna buy up every single dip, and then we're gonna get that wave C, which is gonna push us back. What am I getting on my bearish chart? Which is gonna come back in a wave C, and then we'll come back up and retest this resistance. Right. Looking at the IWM right now, the IWM definitely got slaughtered today, down 1.25%. Now it's probably on the back of yields moving higher. And I know yields were actually going up today and the dollar was up, but the market didn't care because the market is extremely bullish right now. The market is not, you can have negative news. These small pieces of negative news like this were affecting the markets on the way down because it was already bearish. But once the market gets bullish, it ignores all bearish, all small bearish news and sentiment. So sometimes when the dollar goes down, it's bullish, but when it goes back up, it's not bearish anymore. They don't care, right? So again, the market is very biased to being bullish all the time. That's something that you should know. CNBC will always pump out bullish news, try to get people always to stay invested in stocks, stuff like that. It's just the way it goes. It's just the nature of the business, right? They don't want people to sell. They want to keep people in the market at all times and keep the money train going. Okay, but right now, we are at a pretty pivotal point. We got a lot of stocks too that are near all-time highs, and some that are beaten down. We'll take a look at a few of them here. I know some people that joined the Discord the other day were asking for me to take a look at some. So let's just take a look at one very popular one, which is NVDA. So again, I've done some work on NVIDIA, and I've checked NVIDIA on Market Cypher, and I've checked NVIDIA on WaveEdge as well on the larger time frames. to check how much how much selling we were actually getting on the larger time frames. And the whales definitely, the institutions, I say whales, but it's institutions and insiders, were selling at the highs. And we actually, I was looking at volume leaders as well, and we have like a cluster of 30 dark pool trades here at the highs. So big money has gotten out here, but it doesn't mean that the price is going to go down, right? The price can still keep going up. It's in this extremely strong uptrend, and there's just everybody wants to get in on the action as fast as they can. So right now, NVIDIA is still very bullish on wave edge. No other sell signals here. Maybe I think they've already sold on the way up as well. When I look at the larger time frames, like the weekly actually printed a green dot. So again, that's very bullish for NVIDIA. The price can keep moving higher here, and it can keep pushing up. It can defy gravity if the market wants to make a new all-time high and go to 520 on the SPY. NVIDIA can go to 1,000, can go to 700. I don't know. The sky is the limit because you're in price discovery. And then on the daily time frame, you did enter red money flow, but then once we found that bottom on October, near the last week of October, boom, you had a massive rally towards the upside, green dot confirmation, and now you're back into green money flow already. Okay, and we'll have to see if this is essentially my count here, which I think is a potential 1-2-1-2 setup, and then back down into a wave 3. If this keeps pushing higher and takes out the high at 476, then you'll invalidate this wave 2, and then I'll have to redraw my count. Maybe this is an expanded flat or something different, but overall, NVIDIA should be on its way down in November, back down to the 330 levels. And I know, everyone thinks this is extremely unlikely, right? Because it's so bullish. It's everyone's buying, it's no selling, just keep buying, it doesn't matter, right? So I don't buy into that. I just look at the chart, I just look at it and I see this is what I see. So again, this is where I'm positioned in terms of a short position. You could try shorting it if we get back to the mean here at 467, but don't bet the farm on it. We might not even get there. But overall, Mag 7, very difficult trade if you are trying to short it. We could take a look at some other ones. I did some work on ROKU here. Obviously not as a popular one, but it did get a big pop last week. And we did, let me just get on the smaller time frames here. So we did get a very big move, 30% up. So that, to me, maybe shows that a potential low is in terms of a wave 2. And we might be getting started to get into a wave 3 if the markets hold up. And, again, just because the markets start to go down doesn't mean that ROKU can't hold up as well. Individual stocks can go up in a downtrend, but usually they have to be strong names. I don't know if ROKU is that strong of a name, but overall, we should be going down in a potential C wave here. Maybe back down to what, $78, something like that. I think I did some math on it in the calculation that we should probably come back down to this level here, and then right here, this would be your buy area. And if you go anything lower than that, I think you should probably try and stop out, or maybe try catching an extended C wave towards the downside, which would tag this upsloping trend line here that I have drawn out on the daily time frame. I know there's a lot of lines here, but you got a pivot here, a pivot there, and another pivot, and then a beautiful pivot down here as well. So again, this you should keep impulsing up. But again, Roku's done this in the past, impulse up, and then it kind of falls apart, and then it comes back down in a very dramatic fashion. And then after that, we are getting big bounces again. So again, it's essentially should be putting in a bottom, but don't bet the farm on it. This can keep going down if the markets start to roll over, and then you'll have to extend the wave 2, or at the very least change the entire count again, and then you'll have to redraw. I'll have to redraw everything. Let me take a look at Tesla here. I know a lot of people like Tesla as well. Tesla is actually in the short area right now. We got a nice rejection today, and overall it's trying to recapture the 200-day moving average. I think it closed underneath it. Let me just check. The 200-day was at 219, and it closed at 219.27, 219.49. Yeah, so it closed underneath it on the on the daily by a couple pennies. I don't know if that's gonna matter tomorrow, but overall, uh, Tesla should be in its next leg down in a wave 5, and that should be another 5 wave move on this on the smaller time frames. So you might have already started it. Maybe you'll come back up tomorrow morning in a smaller wave 2, and then you'll come back down in a dramatic fashion in a wave 3, and then a retrace 4 and a 5. And then I'll complete maybe the C wave, uh, or if it keeps going lower, then you'll have to maybe draw a larger WXY pattern that I have. I think I deleted it. I think I already deleted it, but I'll redraw it. It's just a WXY combo wave, something like this, right? And then you'll come back down in an even larger fashion, back down to $40. But again, that's a very it's out there. It's not that's probably not gonna happen. That's why we gotta take it day by day, and we gotta take it trade by trade and level by level. So those are my levels for those individual stocks. If you guys want me to take a look at more stocks, I can just put them in the description, or just join the Discord and let me know. The VIX, right? So the VIX right now is already at $14.90, and it's come down from 22 to to where we're at right now, $14.90. Again, this is my buy area here for the VIX. I expect it to hold throughout the next coming weeks, and then eventually start to spike up around November 16. And again, November 17 is actually the day the government shutdown is supposed to happen. I actually didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to line it up with that date. That's just the date that I have here, November 16, for a potential pivot in the VIX and then start to spike up. Which again, the markets should line up nicely and reverse down as well. But we'll see. We'll see. But overall, this is also another sign that the markets may have already run out of steam, and this may have just been another bear market rally. Let's get back on the SPY here. Right here is that when the SPY is already so low and down to such a attractive level for in terms of buying it for protection, and you've seen the markets are already at strong resistant levels, like right here. I keep looking for the chart. It's right here. But basically, you're essentially at a pretty close to some strong resistance. The Qs are already at a strong resistance point, so I would expect a pullback at the very least to fill some gaps, a small spike of the VIX, and then it'll come back down and chop sideways, and that's when you can have the markets floating back up on light volume. And again, today was a very light volume day, 60 million shares traded, peanut gallery volume, nothing to really talk about. And then I don't really have anything else to cover. Nothing really happened in the markets today. Nothing has really changed in my outlook in terms of pullback and stuff like that. The yields actually popped up today. They're starting to come down now. The DXY is trying to form a little bit of a bottom. And actually, the DXY, it's kind of funny because it's actually forming some support right around previous resistance. I think it got a little bit of front running there. So basically, from this pivot here, from this previous pivot, and now you're trying to find some support. We'll have to see if it bear flags and then pushes down to another low, or if it impulses back up on some news. But I don't think we have any more economic news this week. Let me check Tuesday. No, we don't have anything. We just have FOMC members speaking. Some of them are speaking tomorrow at 7:30, 8:30, 8 a.m. So again, you're going to have a lot of that, and then more at 9:15, 10 a.m., and then one more at 1:25 p.m. So we got a full day tomorrow of FOMC speaking. We got bond auctions as well, 10-year, 30-year, and I believe the 3-year and 5-year this week. But some of them are going to be tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. So maybe we'll get some fireworks right around that time. Anyways, I think that wraps it up. I don't really have much to add. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.